Hi, good morning. My name is Raquel. Welcome to my podcast. Today is Sunday, the 7th of August. So is again playing with things he shouldn't. Just a moment. Okay. Sorry. I did actually film last week, but it was like 4 minutes, so I decided not to upload, and because I didn't have that much to show. I've been really busy at the office still. We're now having the air conditioning installed. Here's it. So it's a lot of going. It was a lot of going back and forth from the old office to the new office, making sure that they were removing all the equipment. And now they're installing the new equipment, so it's a lot of noise, a lot of dust, and yeah, I've just not really been having a lot of time to craft, really, so I decided to just take a couple weeks off. I've also not been uploading anything on my blog. The last post I did was from the last episode I filmed of the podcast, so but I have been taking some photos over the weeks, so I will be posting some over the next couple of days. This little guy is now 3 months old, as of the 2nd of August. So he's calming down a bit. He's not misbehaving as much. Still misbehaving some. On occasion he gets it into his little head to do things he knows he shouldn't, but you know, it's all part of the learning curve. It's really warm again. We had on Thursday last week we had some rain. That was like a nice foggy day with like drizzle the whole day through, so it was quite nice to cool down after the really warm weather we've been having. But Friday started warming up again, and yesterday was like 30 plus degrees. Again today it's boiling hot again. I've just been outside with Dakota and Rusty because she wanted to go outside, but we cross the street and we get to like this little grass area I have close by, and she's like, okay, I want to go back inside because it's too hot. She's burning her paws, obviously, because the cement is way too warm for them. This little guy wants to come outside every single time. Especially because last week was the second time he went to the farm, and we put a little collar on him and a little leash because, you know, the property's way too big and he could just disappear and we'd never be able to find him. So we had a little collar and a leash on him, and he was fine. He didn't like it at the very beginning, but he got used to it, and it was a great way for us to be able to catch him. Okay, he's off. It's too hot to be holding him. He doesn't like it much either. So he had quite a lot of fun. He was outside. He didn't want to go outside in the beginning because he didn't know what outside meant. But then once he got used to being outside, then he always wanted to be outside. So now whenever I go to take the dogs out, I have to make sure he doesn't come out with me. He does have all his shots, so he could technically be outside. And I will be trying him on a leash outside. He doesn't really like to walk on the leash, but I will be trying to see if he wants to walk on the leash. That way, maybe in the morning when I go outside with the dogs, when there's not a lot of other dogs around, I could take him out just for a little walk around, and then so he's not always indoors, but because he loves to sit on the dining room table where I'm at the moment and look outside. So that would give him like a once a day experience of being outside. And he might not even like it that much at all because of the noises of cars going by and everything. So we'll see. But I still have to get him like a proper little harness. The one I have is slightly too big for him still, so I have to see if I can find a small one. Anyway, let's get on to what I've been doing. So one of the things that people asked when I did the giveaway earlier this year was to highlight some designers that I like. So today is going to be all about one of the items I'm making. One of my whips that I'm doing for the calendar I'm hosting currently in my group on Ravelry, and I must say I've been seeing a lot of whips showing up and a couple of finished objects, and they all look really good, so keep showing them. I'm going to take some photos of my work in progress at the moment and show that off as well, to show where I am at the moment. So today basically it's going to be all about toys and my sorry, my favorite toy designers. I have 3 main ones. There's several more out there that I like. I'll start with ones I've knitted. For instance, Isolde is more known for garments and shawls, but she has some really cute little toys. I've made her Otto the bear, the polar bear. Sorry, and just ice water. And I started one of the her little elephant toy, but I never got around to finishing it. I think in the meantime I've thrown it away because it got attacked by moths. So I will be trying to knit that one again because I really like it. And yeah, I've been showing you some of the toys I've made. So let's get started with. Another designer that I really like for toys is Susan B. Anderson. While she was writing for the Spud Chloe podcast blog, she came up with a whole bunch of freebie toys, and I've knit several of them. And they're around here because they're currently being used as Soot's play toys. And I showed them off before. It's a little turtle, a little rabbit. I've made a little frog, and there's a couple other ones I still want to make. They're on my list to make. But my three favorite ones, basically because of the simplicity. And Susan B. Anderson's patterns are really simple to follow. Isolde's patterns are really easy to follow as well. Both of them have great tutorials. But the ones I've made more toys of, so that I'm more familiar with, are the following 3, and then I'll go into each one why I like them separately. One of them is Heidi Bears, the other one's Susan Claudino, and the other one's Rebecca Danger. And I just realized I didn't bring the Rebecca Danger books, but I'll put pictures of them. Actually, I'm going to pause it and I'm going to get the books and I'll be back. Just a sec. Okay, so I'm back. While I was getting the books, I found some toys that I knit when I was living in South Africa. The school I was at was all girls school, and we had like, just putting in the box. We had several times a week we had like a crafting class, either hand sewing or knitting. That's where I learned to knit English style. So, what? Okay, he wants someone to play with, and they weren't paying him attention. So now he's on the table, he's going to get into everything, but that's okay. So, one of the things that we knit was a toy Pink Panther. And I have the pattern somewhere, otherwise I'm pretty sure I can duplicate this. But yeah, this was my first ever toy I knit. And so it's not like the best thing, and it was all knit flat, and you had to sew all the pieces together, which is not my favorite. Another reason for liking these 3 designers that I'm gonna get back into. So here's my first ever toy that I knit in South Africa. So this is like yarn we got at the Woolworths, which is like a big department store there, and it's 100% acrylic. So it's like in this, it's like a pink, but it's a really light pink, but it's like a pink and white, so a 2-ply pink and white, and then just plain white for the body. This is a little outfit that my mom made. As you can see, the head's like, you know, it's not really, the stuffing is like really loosely stuffed. I now really tightly stuff my toys to make them much more rigid, and they're still, you know, pliable and all that, but yeah, so this has been really loosely stuffed and the head is like flopping all over the place. So yeah, he's got like, I made him little shoes that are falling off at the moment, got a little tail. So this was the first ever toy I made. And you know, he's coming apart. I have to take a look and see if I can fix him up. Maybe undo a couple of seams and really stuff him properly, so that his head doesn't flop around. And now Sid is totally attacking him. But yeah, so this was the first ever toy, and I have, like I said, I have the pattern written down somewhere. I just have, it's a matter of finding it. Put it over to there. So, but then when I was back in Holland, I apparently found the pattern again and made another one, except this one's like in, again, it's acrylic yarn, and this one's from the Vibra, a store in Holland that sells a whole bunch of stuff, like clothing, underwear. It has yarn as well, mostly acrylic. Sometimes it has like some wool, some proper wool yarn. Again, it's wearing clothes that my mom made, a little dress for the dolls. I don't know if this is a dress that we had for our dolls when we were growing up, or if she made it specific. I think it's a dress that we probably already had for our dolls. So yeah, just, you know, found some white yarn. This one's better stuffed, shall we say. He's like more rigid and all that, but still, yeah. And obviously smaller than that one, because that one stretched out a lot, and I think I held yarn double in this one because he's a lot chunkier, and I know this yarn is it's like a sport weight. I think I held it double. So these are two of the first toys I ever knit following a pattern. So yeah, back to the ones, the three, should call them my three favorite designers. So the first one is Rebecca Danger. Now I don't have any of her finished toys to show you because most of them I've given away as gifts to friends, but I will add in some photos either just before, during the pause that I made, or at the very end. So I have two of her books, and I have several of her patterns that are available on Ravelry. All these patterns from the books are, all, I believe, also all available on Ravelry as individual patterns. So the first book I bought was the Big Book of Monsters. And I've knit several of these. I've knit this one. I've knit this one, and I believe this one over here. And let me see. I think I knit this one as well already. And like I said, oh, this one as well. This little one over there. The reason I like these patterns are because you basically start. It's all knit seamlessly in the round. You knit all the pieces. This one you don't attach as you go, like Susan Claudino, but I'll get to that in a moment. But I did the first one as written, and then I was like, well, I could knit the limbs, the ears, the feet separately first, and then attach them as I'm knitting the rest of the body, and that's what I've done ever since then. And it makes it so much easier, and very little finishing basically. So is getting into the stuffing of the toys. If the bag's closed, it's not an issue. You can't get into it. Yesterday when I was actually stuffing the toy, I'll be showing you in a second, he was actually digging into the stuffing, so I had to get that up. So yeah, there's a lot of toys in here. Don't even know how many. But there's a good 20 different little monsters in here, and you can just mix and match. I mean, I've done it so that, this one for instance, I've left off the ears on some of the toys I've knit, and she calls mostly for, let's see, for mostly worsted or iron weight yarn. I've done them in soft weight yarn. Just use whatever yarn you like. Just be sure to use a much smaller needle than the recommended needle size, so that the toys are sturdier and the stuffing doesn't really pop out too much. So that was one of the books I have from Rebecca Danger, and the other one is Knit a Monster Nursery. Now this is all, she created this book for her first son, and she's had a second little boy, I believe, in the meantime. And I just love the color palette she's used, little toys she's made, for instance, like all these teething rings. And there's really, really, you know, very simple to make, like a little blanket there. And I've made one or two out of these as well. So yeah, they're just really fun things to make. And if you just choose a color palette for your, you know, you don't have to make the whole nursery out of it. But it's quick knits, fun to make. So I'll add some photos in of the toys I have knit from the Rebecca Danger patterns, because I don't have any here to show you. I forgot to ask my friend Carolina from Ballerstown, because there's a toy that was jumping onto the table. Yeah, at Ballerstown there's one toy of mine still there, just on show. So then the next designer I really like is Susan Claudino, and I showed you, I believe it was in the last episode, if not it was the one before. This little girl, little rabbit that I knit. This is the Bom Bom pattern by Susan Claudino, and I actually have a whole bunch of her patterns that I still need to. I've printed them all out, and what I do with my toy knitting patterns is I print them out in A5 size, and then I have them with staples and have them bound up like this. So they're just a lot more portable. I can stick them in my project bag as I go along, and I don't have to have like a big pattern or whatever. So I still have to do that with the Susan Claudino patterns that I've printed out. This is the third little rabbit I made. I made a little elephant, which I've given away in the meantime, so I don't have to show you. So yeah, that's another great designer for toys. This one really does do the, you knit all the limbs, all the attachments, shall we say, so the ears, the limbs, the little tail, everything separately before you start the body, and then you start knitting these into the body as you go along. And that just makes it a lot faster. You don't have to weave in too many ends, because basically what I do, I leave the end that I leave dangling on the limb, so to speak. I just take that with the actual yarn that I'm using for knitting the body, and then knit it together. And sorry, so it's now chewing on my yarn, which I have to remove. No. What should you do with the pencil? You can play with the pencil, baby. Okay, whatever. So yeah, Susan Claudino, it's another great designer for toys. Then the one I also really like, and I really like the when I saw these first on Ravelry, I fell in love with all the animals that she had, you know, knitted toys and everything. But I was like, well, sorry, they're not knitted, they're crochet. And I was like, well, I'll never be able to do that, because I don't really do crochet much, and I don't know all the terminology and all that. But let me tell you, even if you don't crochet, you can totally follow these patterns without a problem. I'm talking about Heidi Berry patterns. Her designs are so well written. There is like, really, I'll show you. I can't really show too much because it's paid for patterns, but it's super easy to follow her patterns. You can totally crochet these things, these toys, and they're super fun. So I'll show you the ones I've finished first. The very first one I did, and I only did this one because it's a knitted one. It's the only knitted toy I believe she has at the moment. I could be wrong. I haven't checked her design page much lately, but she might have some new her idea was to convert her crochet patterns into knitting patterns as well. The first one she did was the hippopotamus, or the happypotamus, and this is the Knitapotamus. And I knit this out of Zauberwool crazy yarn in, I think it's the Fleeterduft colorway, so it's like the purples and blues. And I love this little guy. This one you really, I knit each piece as I was attaching it to the next piece. I didn't knit them all separately and then attach them as I do with the crochet ones. So you start somewhere here on the legs and you work your way up, and it looks like a huge mess when you start with it, but once you get into it and you start stuffing him, her, or whatever, yeah, as you can see, cute little thing. Eyes, and like I said, I don't use the safety eyes. A friend already said that she buys them on Amazon or on Etsy cheaply, but I like the buttons that I found in the local haberdasheries. I think they give them character, so I'm going to stick to these for now. I might in the future get some of the safety eyes as well, see if I like them that or not. So this is the only one I haven't knitted. I might do this one again in some thicker yarn. Hey! Don't be a bad boy. So yeah, this is my Knitapotamus. No, sit. You're gonna be sitting here. Then I made the next one. I decided to do the crochet ones, and the first one, when Heidi Bears came out with this specific toy, I was like, okay, I have to knit this for a friend of mine because she likes owls. And so I did. I bought the pattern and I couldn't resist. I bought several of her patterns. So this is the first set of patterns that I bought, other than the knitted one. Let's see. Okay, so I have 3 books of Heidi Bear patterns. Believe it or not, this book is just one pattern. This is Lolo, the African flower bear. Let me see if I can. And this thing is quite big. And you really, this one is even more, I think this is the first one she ever did. And this is even more detailed than the other ones, and that's why there's so many pages in here. So this is one of the next ones I'm going to be making. Stop it, sit. Here, play with the pencil. Play with the pencil. So yeah, so this book that I'm working on at the moment, the first pattern I did was the owl. And I made this out of some leftover yarn that I had from a test I did. I'll insert a picture at the end, because I did take photos, obviously. And I gifted it to a friend, and she loves it. It's in her living room, on her sideboard with a whole bunch of other ceramic owls and everything. So every time I go there, I see it, and I know it's like, it's cute, it's there. So what I have, so in this book I have an owl pattern, the rhino, the giraffe, and then the dragon that I'm working on right now. But I have the dragon and the giraffe made. So this is the rhinoceros, and the rhino, the pattern name is Thandi. Thandi is a rhino in South Africa that poachers tried to kill to remove the horns, but they weren't able to. The wildlife sanctuary there managed to save her, and she's doing fine, and I believe she's even had like a baby rhino already. But you can, if you Google her, you can read all about her story. And seeing as I've seen these wonderful creatures in real life, actually, at the school I was at, we'd go on like, you know, like a trip away from school, and one of the trips that we took was to Johannesburg, which is a nature reserve in South Africa. And on one of these trips, we were in the bus and driving along. You know, we had little booklets and we had to be looking for specific animals, and so it was kind of like a survival thing that we were doing, which was quite a lot of fun. And suddenly there were two rhinos in front of us getting into a fight. So we had to stop, and the driver, I remember the driver tried to reverse, but we couldn't because there was another rhino behind us. So we were sitting between three rhinos, two of them fighting. Didn't last long. So yeah, I've seen these creatures in real life. They're fantastic, and really I don't understand how people can kill them just because of the horns. Or kill any animal for that matter, but you know, especially now that sometimes on Facebook you see all these hunters or whatever you call them, like proudly standing on the kills on these animals. It's disgusting, really. So I made Thandi out of the colorful yarn is Rico Designs Superba Poems, I believe. Check my Ravelry page, it's on there. I can't remember it now. And I had 3 balls of this colorway, and I still have enough to make the hippo, so this one, but in the crochet version. So this is the rhino, and then I decided to use the same yarn. The white yarn around it is Rosarios4 Merinoland, which is 100% merino. It's baby yarn and works great. And I'm made all of these using 1.5 millimeter crochet hook. This was bought at the Lidl, like in a set. Came in a set of 3, I believe. So then, after the rhino, I made the giraffe. Whole tail, this fun little thing. And again, you get like clear instructions on how to make the ears, how to make these big little horn things, and how to make the mane here, and this giraffe. And totally love the giraffe as well. So yeah, like I said, I have still enough yarn left over to make the hippo, which I will be doing sometime soon. But what I'm working on now, and I started this in 2014, was like in the summertime, and I had finished a lot of projects, and I decided, well, let's start this one. And then suddenly a whole bunch of projects started appearing on my needles, and I put this one aside, and I only had part of the motifs made up. So these sections, I just do the up to a specific part, and then I do the white. I do that as I'm joining them along, and I'll show you in a sec what I mean with that. So what I'm making now is the dragon. And the moment this one came out, I was like, okay, I have to make the dragon. And for me, the dragon, okay, there's like several reasons that I'm doing this in the blue and white. Number one, the dragon is our local football stadium. So if you're in Porto and people are talking about the dragon, or the dragão, they're talking about the football stadium for the football club, FC Porto, and that's my club. So when she came out with the dragon, I was like, okay, I have to make the dragon, and I have to make it blue and white, because those are the colors for the football team. And blue and white also because I lived in Holland a lot of years, and I like the Delftware, the blue and white Delftware. Also part of the Dutch flag colors. So it was only logical to make it in blue and white. The yarn I'm using, and here's some of the motifs. I have another one right here. This is all for the wings, and I still have to make these little horn things. I still have to make those. but I'll do them at the very end. And I still have enough yarn to finish them. So this yarn is Drops Delight in number 4 colorway, so it's just blues, shades of blues, and goes from like the light blue to a darker blue, and yeah. So, and then, again, I'm using the Rosarios4 Merinoland. We'll have the glitter there. The Rosarios4 Merinoland, and this is color 2. It's not a pure white, it's like an off-white, which I think goes better with all these bright colors. And I had planned on getting a lot further with this, but I haven't, so this is where I am at now. He has 4 legs, which I've stuffed already. A couple of them need to be stuffed a bit more. This is the back end, and I'm currently working on the head over here. As you can see, he is blue and white, several little shades of color, and he's going to be great when I'm finished with him. And he's going to be quite a bit bigger than the other ones. So yeah, I've been working on him. It's also because of the heat, it's too hot to sit with anything heavy on you, so the dress I was making, I got a couple of rows into the ribbing and I stopped because it was just too heavy, too much. It wasn't heavy, and it's actually cotton merino blend, but it still, sitting on your lap, it does create heat. So this little thing it doesn't sit on my lap too much. I can put it to the side and work on it on the side. And yeah, so what you do is, okay, this is just to show that this is the last motif I attached. And the next motif I'm going to be attaching, I'll do, actually, let's see. I'll take the white and I'll do this part, so this part here where you have like the little white sticking out, so making the flower stand out, and then I'll start the double crocheting around it, but then I start attaching it, sorry, off screen, start attaching it going along here, then along there, so yeah, so you start attaching it as you go. And I thought, well, you know, it's going to be difficult and everything, but she has a video, and like I said, she has super clear instructions. I'll show you just one of the pages that shows you exactly, I mean, without the rest of the pattern you won't be able to do it, but so it basically just shows you how to attach. See, it just shows you exactly how to attach. So it's step-by-step instructions. Like I said, if you don't know how to crochet, you can totally do one of these patterns without an issue at all. They're super simple to follow. I have several more to make, obviously, and that's what I've been working on. And then yesterday, I have to keep watching because my battery on my computer is running out. Don't want it to run out completely. Yesterday, I was babysitting in the morning. You couldn't really call it babysitting. The girls I was watching, they're not babies, they're both like 12 years old. But the mom just asked me to take care of them, just watch them. They're pretty self-sufficient, just to watch over them, make sure that they were all okay. And that's what I did in the morning. Then in the afternoon, came home, spent some time with the dogs and the cat, before leaving to go to Weeklong, to the art fair, which today's the last day. It starts at 3 and it's going to finish around midnight. But yeah, today's the last day, and last weekend, because I was at my parents' place, I didn't get to go, and the first weekend, which it started on the 23rd of July, so 2 weeks ago, on the Sunday it was just way too hot, and I decided not to go. But I should have gone, but you know, that's okay. I went yesterday, and it was a lot better than last year. Last year was a bit, I don't know how to explain it, last year just wasn't, I'm not saying the quality of the stuff wasn't good, it was good. It just wasn't, there wasn't a lot of variety maybe, and I just didn't like last year very much. This year I did, I really liked it. I took some photos. My camera wasn't working too great because of the heat, so I will add some photos at the end, and this looks like it's going to be a slightly longer podcast than usual, because I'm already at half an hour plus this section I did before interrupting, and then I'm going to be adding in a whole bunch of photos, so bear with me. Next week I'll do a smaller one. And there's this huge butterfly coming towards me outside. It looked like a bird, but it's actually a butterfly. Anyway, so I went to the fair, and my idea was to go to a specific stall, because 2 years ago, in 2014, I bought some yarn there, which I've shown off, and I've shown off the finished object I made with one of the yarns, I believe right in the very first episode. First or second episode, and it's all natural, 100% Portuguese wool, in undyed. They do dye it. If you go to Owlet, you can buy the dyed, the single ply version, which is a lot thinner. I have like the Aran to chunky weight yarn. And yesterday, usually I talk to the gentleman that's usually at the stalls, but yesterday his wife was there. And I talked to her, and it was really nice person to talk to. You know, yeah, it was just really nice. And I bought all the yarn that she had left in the stall. I brought home with me, so I brought home about 5 kilos of the yarn. I'll show you the yarn. And she had some new yarn that they're developing, and she brought it along for someone else. But that person wasn't really interested in it because it wasn't the right color and it wasn't the right thickness, and you know, whatever. She went to get it. She showed it to me, and I said, well, you know, I'll take it. I have slightly over a kilo to work with of that yarn, so you know, I'll find something to do. It's a bit thinner than it's in between the single ply that is at Balderstone and this other yarn I want to show you now. So there's 3 shades of this yarn. There's the natural white, and this one is the only one that could change a bit in color with the dye lot. I say dye lot, there's not really a dye lot because it's like the natural color, but due to washing circumstances and whether or not she... Okay. Sorry, the battery on my laptop went out and didn't even give me a warning, it just stopped recording. So, as I was saying, the only, you can't really call it a dye lot, but as it's natural color yarn, but due to maybe the heat of the water or the amount of detergent she adds to the washing process, the color might change on this one, so on the plain white one. So that's the only one that if you're making a big project, it's better to get more than you think you might need, just to make sure that you have enough to finish your project without maybe buying some more yarn and then it being slightly different color, and then you can notice the difference. So I believe I didn't bring the bags here with me, I just brought these 3 to show you. These were the ones that she had on show, so these were the ones that she had hanging up. But yeah, I bought several balls of these, and each one of these weighs about 300 grams, and I can't remember how many meters, but there's quite a lot of yarn in here. I made the cardigan I made earlier last year, and I showed in one of the first episodes, used about 900 grams of yarn, so like 3 of these skeins. So then, what the other one that she calls artisan is the mix. It's like, I know how she creates it, but it's a mix. So it's not quite the white, as you can see. It's a mix of the natural and the brown, and it's really nice. This is what I made my cardigan out of, the one I showed off, and I have a whole bunch of this one. She had a lot more of this one than she thought initially, and then the third color, which is this one, is the natural brown. So from what I bought 2 years ago, so in 2014, I have not used my brown. I had planned on making a poncho style cardigan for in the winter from a Rowan book that I bought, I think all designed by Martin Story, but instead what I'm going to do is the pattern that Sophia gave me earlier this year for the, what's it called? The Persian Dreams blanket, which I originally was planning on making in blue and white from Vitaria yarn from Ovelha Negra. I decided to make, because I have 3 fingering blankets already. One's not even finished yet, which I need to finish, but I decided I wanted to make a thicker yarn blanket. So I'm going to pair these two. There's enough contrast between them, so I'm going to pair these two and make the hexagons. I'll make the first one to see how it looks. If it really doesn't work out, then I'll do something else. I'll make another type of blanket with them. But I think it will work. So that's my plan. I'm going to make the Persian Dreams just in 2 colors with these 2 yarns. So it's going to be a nice warm winter blanket to throw either on the couch or on the bed, which was the idea. Anyway, as I mentioned, she had a new yarn, which is slightly thinner than this one. It's also slightly rougher. Believe it or not, this is quite soft. Even though it's like local Portuguese yarn, the sheep are not grown for their wool. Most farmers actually burn the fleece after they cut it off the sheep, or they use it for bedding for their livestock. This is actually quite soft wool, and unless you're super sensitive, you won't be able to wear this next to skin. But I've made the 2 cardigans and I can wear them next to skin. It's not an issue at all. And of course, if you wash it with some wool wash, or if you don't have wool wash, some hair conditioner, it does get a lot softer. This one's slightly rougher, just from touch. I'm having it with this, so it might get a lot softer, but I'm talking just touch now. But it's a bit thinner. It's not as thick. I'll show you in terms of thickness. If I can show this. Let's see. There's this one, and there's this one. You see, it's a bit thinner. So this is more, maybe this is more of a worsted weight yarn. And again, I don't know how much in terms of meters there's on here, but I'll figure that out. I might contact them and find out if she knows approximately how many meters is in each skein like this. So yeah, then they have like I said, the single ply sport weight, which I don't have any here to show you, but I will. They'll be going to another fair in Famalicão at the beginning of September. I believe it starts on the 2nd of September to the 11th of September. And so I'm going to have a look to see if they have some of theirs. The lady I talked to yesterday said they will definitely have the sport weight yarn there. She just didn't have any more at the Vila do Conde Art Fair yesterday because it was sold out. And seeing as today was the last day, she didn't bring any. She only brought like the blankets and outfits that they have, and the yarn that was on order. She didn't bring any extras because it was the last weekend of the fair. She wasn't gonna, carry a whole bunch of stuff that she would eventually have to carry back to Ceia, which is where they are located. So yeah, that's what I have. I do have some other stash enhancement, which I'll quickly show. And I got these at Love Knitting, loveknitting.com, I believe. I'll put the links in the show notes. And they were having a bit of a sale of their drops. They were having a sale of a whole bunch of yarns, and the drops Babel was on sale as well. So I took advantage of some of that and bought some of that because I am planning, and I haven't mentioned this before, but I am planning on hosting a 2-month sock knit along, like Rosario hosted in March this year. I'm planning on doing it for 2 months because I want to focus not only on socks. I want to be knitting some other things, but I do have some patterns in mind that I want to be knitting. So I got this color, and like I said, this old drops Fable print, either long print or whatever, and this is color 340, and I can't remember, the names are online, so I'm gonna look up the names and I'll put them in the show notes if I can find them again. Then I got this one, which was quite nice as well. These are the brighter ones, and then I got some other ones, and I got, let's see, they come in these cute little bags, which I quite like. I bought 4 skeins of this one, 2 of these. I believe I only had 2 skeins of that one, and then I have 4 skeins of this one. See, Drops Fable, and this is 914. I didn't mention what the other one was. What did I? This one over here is color 167. And then, let's see, I have 2 skeins of this one, just like grays, and this is 602. And then 2 skeins of this one, it's grays and blues, and this is color 913. And then unfortunately they only had 1 skein of this one, which I really wanted more of this one, which is color 604. Blues and browns. They only have 1, so I might make some Rose City rollers out of that one. I'll put it all back. So yeah, that's what I have. And I have some other, which is, I'll show that next week, seeing as we're not starting this just yet. I have some other yarn that I got at Valderstones in Coimbra, which is opal yarn. Also all set for this sock knit along that I'm thinking of hosting. Not thinking, I'm going to host it now. I just haven't figured out if it's going to be a 2 month or 1 month, but we'll see. Initially I planned it to be 1 month, but maybe I'll do 2 months, and then I'll do it most likely from starting September 1st to the October 31st. But I'm still thinking about it, and I'm going to contact some of my indie dyer friends, see if they can dye up some maybe specific colorways, just special colorways for you guys to do as giveaways, and then I'll make some project bags to go with them and stitch markers as well. But yeah, like I said, I haven't worked out all the details just yet. For now, I'm doing the whips knit along just for fun, and come towards the end of August I'll iron out all the details and I'll let you guys know. And like I said, this is quite a long podcast already, so I'm gonna say goodbye now. I still have to edit all of this. I have a whole bunch of photos to edit as well. Luckily it's so warm that the dogs are fast asleep. I gave them a little treat, so they're lying down here just on their favorite pillows. The only one I obviously have to worry about is the cat, because he seems to be full of energy at the moment. But I think that won't last for long, and he'll be fast asleep in a second as well. So, thank you for watching. I really have to go now because Sid is getting into all the yarn and into all the cables that he shouldn't be getting to. And I'll see you guys next week. And yeah, bye.